Welcome to the Happiness Minute. Our episode today is called Holistic Harmony, exploring energy healing for a balanced life. Today, we will explore the principles, techniques, and applications of energy healing. And hopefully, this episode will expand your knowledge and open your mind to healing energy. And our guest today is Suzanne Gamache. Suzanne is a seasoned practitioner with decades of experience. She has devoted her career to exploring holistic approaches to transformation, integrated traditional healing practices, and more contemporary approaches to foster balance and wellness. An advocate for the practical applications of energy healing in daily life, Suzanne is here to share insights into the principles, techniques, and transformative potential of this approach. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Happiness Minute. We have a very special guest today. Her name is Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Anna. Lovely to be here.
Nice to see you. So, Suzanne, before anything else, can you tell us more about you and your business?
Sure. I'm going to talk about those things at the same time. I am born and raised in the States in America and living currently in England, having also lived in the south of France. So the expat life is one I'm very familiar with. I am an energy healer, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yes.
But I have other strings to my
Yep.
bow as well, which include holistic therapy. So at the base, I am a psychotherapist, and I take a very holistic approach in my psychotherapy work.
Mhm.
I'm also an intuitive business mentor and run a business
Okay.
mentoring program, bringing intuition together with strategy and structure to help heart-led entrepreneurs grow their business. And I also do work in the Akashic realm, so do Akashic
Okay.
Records readings for people. So
Okay, cool.
there.
Yeah, there's a lot of strings to your bow.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the topic for today is energy healing. Now, I don't know much about it. So can you tell me and also our listeners and viewers what energy healing is and how does it differ from conventional healing or conventional medicine?
Sure. Okay. So there are a lot of different traditions and energy healing modalities and energy medicines. So what they all have in common is that they recognize a flow of energy in and around the body, and that we work with that flow of energy in order to promote wellness. It's there, all of the different modalities and medicines are very holistic in their
Mhm.
approach. And they all at some level believe in or ascribe to know that the body has its own innate ability to heal itself. So it's just working with that innate awareness. So the energy healing really works at the root of the at the root cause of whatever is going on for the person. Whereas conventional medicine tends to be much more symptom focused and addressing symptoms through pharmacology. So it's a very, very different approach, although they can be complementary.
Okay. So in terms of like the energy healing, are there like different types of principles or philosophies about this different energy healing practices?
Yeah, there are many, 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 many. So I'll just name a few that people might have heard of. So many people have heard of traditional Chinese medicine, which comes from, it's
Mhm.
a 5,000, well, that number's debatable, 5,000-year-old medicine that is based on meridians and
Yeah.
the energy flow of the organs and meridians. Other people have heard of prana healing, which comes more from Indian traditions. People are aware of shiatsu, which comes more from traditional Japanese medicine. Reiki is another energy healing modality that people have heard of. So there are lots of different things, approaches that people may have heard of that they all are based in their own culture and
Yes.
tradition and philosophy, but they do have those same things in in common. Also, quantum healing approaches too. They all have those same things in common, which is the understanding of energy being at the core of the medicine.
Okay. So you mentioned something about a while ago about energy fields. Um,
Yeah.
can you explain more about that and what is it? What's the significance of it in energy healing?
Sure. So different traditions will talk about it in slightly different ways. Many people will have heard of an aura. So that is the energy
Yes, I've heard
field that
that.
it surrounds the body. Yeah. Um, Other people might talk about it in terms of a biomagnetic field or an electromagnetic field. Science can measure this energy field. So it really is this sense of a field that surrounds our body and permeates the body as well, and it influences our physical, mental, and emotional health. So disruptions in this field can lead to imbalances, and that's where the energy healing or energy medicine can restore the harmony.
So you mentioned imbalances, blockages.
Yeah,
So are they sort of like emotions or that are blockages? Are they impacting our health
yeah,
as
that's
well?
a great question, Anna. Absolutely, yes. And this is part of the holistic approach to um, uh, every energy medicine that I know of, which is that there's this interplay of our emotional body or emotional self, our psychological self, our mental state, our physical body, that all of those things are a part of who we are. They are all aspects of us, and they all have this energy flowing through them, contain this energy, and so they're interacting with each other. So an emotional state can affect the physical body, and also physical illnesses can affect the psychology of a person or the energy levels of a person. So that's the holistic viewpoint, is that all of these things are interacting. And then also what is in our energy field is also interacting with that around us as well. And that's where the idea of pollution that can affect our physical body. So the body, a lot of my work focuses on the places where memories and beliefs and emotions are held in the body, and then create symptoms, either physical symptoms or emotional, psychological symptoms. And so that's the work I do, is really to help to use my intuitive approach to understand where it's being held in the body, and which might be the place of symptoms or pain,
Yeah.
and it might not be, and to move there and get that unstuck and work through that before, in order to free up the whatever the symptom is. So some people come to me with very physical symptoms. Other people come
Mm,
to me with relationship issues or mental health issues.
mm.
So it just depends on what they're coming with. That'll kind of determine how I'm working with them. But I'm always looking at that holistic approach and reading the energy and following the energy to see where we can unlock and unblock the energy. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that makes sense. So when you say emotions, is this always going to be negative emotions? Will it also be a positive emotion? Can a
Yeah.
positive emotion be a blockage as well? I don't know.
That's a great question. Things that we might associate with positive emotions, there can be a too much as well. So Chinese medicine really
Yeah,
works
too
with
much.
these principles of not an, insufficiency or a too much and overly, and that's where there might be too much energy running through the system, which might, be excitement or euphoria or something like that. And but it might be preventing people from being able to kind of find a relaxed state, find sleep, that kind of thing. When we
Yeah.
get into kind of more pathology, we're looking at things like manic states or high levels of anxiety, etc. And from certain traditions and perspectives, that can be a too much. And so I don't really myself ascribe to the positive and negative emotions
Mhm.
theory, but I completely get what you're saying. So yeah, it can be positive things impacting us as well and creating some imbalance, which then affects us.
Yeah, because I do believe, like, for example, emotions can be seen physically as well. Because I feel like sometimes, like, just for experience, when I feel really stressed, I'm having a lot of pain in my shoulders and my neck. So is that a
Yeah,
symptomatic? Is that what an energy blockage is
yeah.
as well?
Good question. Yeah, stress is an excellent example to use. The there's lots of debate about what the definition of stress is, but the World Health Organization defines it as a worry, a state of worry, or a mental tension. And you know, there's different statistics out there, but well more than 50% of doctors' visits are stress related. But they're showing up at physically. So yeah, it can
Physically,
be,
yeah.
yeah, the tension headaches, the stiffness and the,
Migraines
tightness
as
of
well.
the shoulders. Yes, exactly. Migraines, tummy upsets, back pain, all of those kinds of things they will have while they also have their physical expression, they will have an energetic component as well. So that's how I can work with people, even without being in physical proximity, is to work on that energetically. And it often frees up the pain, the headache, the stress. We can even do muscle relaxation with energy work without any hands-on healing needing to be done.
Yeah, you mentioned hands-on healing. So can it be practiced remotely as well, or do you need to be like beside the person all the time?
Yeah.
How does it work?
It's a great question. It can be done either way. So it can be done remotely. It can be done at a distance. It can be done in person with hands on or hands just above the body. And really, it just taps into that either quantum physics notion of the quantum field, or spiritual traditions that talk about the interconnectedness
Mhm,
of us all,
mhm.
And what we're doing is we're just tapping into that field. We might be using symbols, we might be using intentions, we might be using visualizations to send that healing through the energetic field. But it is, for me, it's a practice of connecting to the person, connecting to their energy body, and then directing the healing in whatever way is needed.
I see. That's quite good actually, because
Yeah.
there are some instances that you want, I don't know, like I would say, like, people who are undergoing, like, they're in so much pain. Sometimes it's better to have this sort of treatment that's non-invasive as well.
Yes.
So do you think
Yeah.
energy healing? Do you think it's actually like a non-invasive, not a non-invasive, but it's not too strong in terms of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question, Anna. So it's non-invasive, and the practitioner will be working with the body and with the kind of energy of the person. So receiving permission to be
Okay.
working with the body,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because
And
it can be painful if it's like a big like a massage, like, it's just painful sometimes. So
yes,
this is
yes.
less of that. When I say invasive, it's not that as painful as that.
Exactly, exactly. That's exactly right. And but people can have quite a strong reaction to it. So people may feel initially an increase in their physical symptoms. So let's say they're coming with pain
Okay.
in their hips. Initially, as I'm working with them, or maybe right after the session, they might actually feel an increase in the pain sensations, but then it begins to dissipate. People might feel tingling or throbbing, or cool, suddenly feel very cold, or suddenly feel very warm. Those kinds of things can happen during or right after the session. Also, what can happen is people can become quite emotional. And then people also sometimes, this doesn't happen as often, but sometimes people have a response that looks a lot like a detoxification response. So they might have the nausea, the headache, the feeling sluggish, and then but that's just the energy healing working through, and then it resolves itself, and the person feels a whole lot better after that. So people can have quite a strong reaction. It only happens occasionally that those strong reactions come, but they can. Mostly, most people really receive it in a very gentle way. And I often, especially with people who are quite sensitive or in quite a lot of pain, I set the intention for their body, mind, heart, and spirit to receive the healing in a gentle way and in a way that they can integrate gently. But it doesn't always happen that way.
So you mentioned, like, you help people with energy healing, but does it also complement other types of treatments or other types of healing? It, you mentioned also a while ago about being complementary to
Yeah.
conventional medicine. So
Yeah.
what other forms are there that, what other complementary um, options are out there with
Yeah.
alongside that you can use with energy healing?
Yeah. So pretty much anything. I know that the world of conventional medicine and the world of insurance and the world of the law will want me to say that if you're going to use energy healing alongside a traditional, conventional
Mm.
allopathic medicine, that you should speak to your doctor about that. So I've said it now.
Yeah.
Um, um, what I know to be true is that the energy healing can be used alone by itself or with anything else you feel drawn to. So whether that's chemotherapy or whether that's massage, or anything in between, that it works very beautifully complementary with a lot of things. And the list of possibilities is massive in terms of alternative or complementary therapies. Everything from homeopathy, herbal medicines, plant essences to like I've already named a bunch of different energy medicines and healing modalities, chiropractic care, osteopathy. There's so many that can be really helpful. And the only thing that I would caution people against is overloading their system with too many things. I often am taking a multi-pronged approach myself when I'm working through something, but I'm allowing my intuition to guide me toward the right practitioners and toward the right approaches. And I would just recommend that to everybody, that you let your intuition guide you, because sometimes what can happen is people go, "Oh, I'm just in so much pain, I'm going to throw everything at it."
Yeah,
But that can
massage
really,
everything.
yes, exactly. But that can really overload the system. Their body or their energy body might not be able to receive so many different interventions, also from so many different people, because don't forget that, it's as I'm doing energy healing, with somebody, it's also my energy coming through and my imprint, my essence coming through for that person. So they've got 10 different practitioners, healers,
Working, yeah.
doctors working on them. It can be too much for the system. So, it's just, I just say, go with your intuition on that.
So that is one of the potential limitation, but are there any limitations of using energy healing as well besides that? Because that would be one example, is that you don't want to be doing energy healing with too many other
Right.
ones as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be doing too much of anything with too many other things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that, and then that plus what I said earlier about some people can have quite a strong reaction. It's just to be aware of that could come
Okay.
up. And so if you're not in a place where, for example, Maybe you're on holiday and you book an energy healing session because you think that would be a lovely thing to give yourself on a holiday, and lots of big emotion comes up and you don't want to
Ah.
deal with that on holiday. Maybe it's not the best time to be,
To do.
booking
Okay.
your energy healing session,
Ah,
actually,
yes.
Yeah. Unless you are clear with the practitioner of like, I need this to be really relaxing and calming, and then the practitioner sets that intention as well, then you're probably going to be fine, But if you're looking at doing some deep work on a deep issue, it's making sure that you have the space in your life, emotionally and also kind of logistically, to manage that and to receive that healing and receive the insights and after effects of the session.
Yeah, one of the things that if I decide to do energy healing as well, like go for it, how can someone like me determine if it's really for me, if energy healing is what I need at that particular point in time? Are there any like checklists that I should be doing, or like when
Uh-huh.
I feel this way, maybe I should be doing energy healing?
Right. So energy healing, like I said, can work for mental health issues. It can work for stress. It can work for physical symptoms. It can work for, emotional issues. It can work on any of those levels. So there isn't anything that, any kind of checklist in that sense. And I would say, if you're feeling drawn to it, then there's something there for you. And there's, it 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 doesn't do harm, like we've already talked about. It's
Yes.
non-invasive and it's usually very gentle
Hmm. Yeah.
and subtle also,
Hmm.
which in just this really beautiful way. So it won't do harm. But and I would say if there's a curiosity, then just pay attention to that. If there's a little bit of a kind of an intuitive nudge, then pay attention to that and go ahead and do it. And I would say, just go ahead and allow yourself to book one or several sessions,
Ah.
and then just really see how it's feeling for you. And then you'll know. It's your own inner knowing that is the most important guide, more than a checklist, more than anything that I can say. It's your own inner knowing, like, how am I receiving this? Does it feel like it's helping? And it sometimes requires more than one session to have a deeper
Yeah.
sense of how this is working through you and for you.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so this is the second to the last question.
Uh-huh.
I want to know more about how it can help support mental health, um, as well. What sort of things energy healing can do for us to have better mental health, better
Yeah.
mental wellness.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've talked a little bit about stress, and stress can often be the trigger for other mental health symptoms or issues. But the way that I work around mental health issues, so that could be
Hmm.
depression, it could be anxiety, it could be relationship issues, it could be lots of things, but things that people might sort of seek counseling for or think of as a mental health issue. The way that I'm working with people is I'm hearing what they're saying and I'm asking questions to get a sense of what's going on in their life that can be contributing to the discomfort that they're experiencing. And what I'm also doing is, so I'm hearing what they're saying and really kind of listening on a holistic,
Hmm.
from a holistic perspective at what's going on for them. So I'm not just listening for the symptom, but I'm listening for what are the contributing factors for them feeling the way that they're feeling right now. And then I'm also intuitively tapping into their energy field, which is also giving me a whole other layer of information. So that's allowing deeper issues to be identified. So maybe they're having fights with their partner. And
Hmm.
yeah, we could get into the, you know, the communication or the dynamics of the relationship with the partner. We could get into childhood things that are going on, or we can work with it energetically to kind of look at what is the deeper pattern, what is the deeper energy that's
Mm.
affecting this, where is it being held, how is it being held, how is it influencing the person's experience in their life right then, and we can work at that level. So it really it really adds another dimension to the mental health issues that they're having. Sometimes it's just about helping to bring the person back inside of themselves, find that place of wholeness, of peace, of calm that we all have within us, helping them to reconnect to that place within themselves. And that already begins to help the whatever the mental health issue is to dissipate. And sometimes it's just providing a deeper level of understanding. We often sort of say that it's hard to make shifts and changes in our life
Mm.
if we're not aware of what's underlying our experience. Carl Jung said, I'm not going to get the quote
Mm.
exactly right, but he said something to the effect of that which is unconscious will drive our life, and we're going to call it fate. Whereas if we can see energetically what that unconscious pattern is or what's happening on that unconscious level, bring it up to the conscious level, then we have something that we can work with consciously and then move forward from there. So that
But
was a big answer to your
I
question, because
know.
it can work in many different ways. It can shift a state currently, and it can bring a deeper understanding of what's happening in the person or in their relationships that can help move the therapy forward. Does that make
Because it
sense?
that makes sense. It's also, it won't be just a one-off with this types with certain with mental health, wellness and mental health. It won't just
Yeah.
be just one session. I would think, based on what you said, it would be like a series of sessions. It's because
Yeah.
you are digging deeper into
Yeah.
the root cause of it. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that that's generally true. It would be a series of sessions. However, if somebody has already done a lot of work on themselves, and
mm,
that is part of, and they're on their spiritual path and their self-awareness path, and they're just experiencing something that they just aren't seeing for themselves, and sometimes one session's enough to unlock, and then they go, oh, okay, now I
okay,
get it,
now,
and
yeah.
then they can continue working with themselves on that thing. But that does require somebody who is quite self-aware and is on a path already, where
I
the
see.
one-off session might be really helpful. But for a lot of people that I'm working with, it is a series of sessions over time.
Yeah, because it would be deeper. You'll go deeper, so it
Yeah,
takes a while, and also you
yeah.
need to know the person as well. You
Mm,
know,
hmm.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I think my last question is, what could be the three key takeaways that you can give
Ah,
to our listeners today about energy
yeah.
healing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say one key takeaway is there are many, many, many modalities. And so if you're feeling drawn to something, trust that more than an intellectual understanding of what it is or what it can do for you. Just trust that sense of like, ooh, that feels right. Similarly, with a practitioner, um, there are lots of people doing intuitive energy healing. There are lots of people doing Reiki. There are lots of people doing acupuncture. There are lots of people doing shiatsu. It's also really important to get the right practitioner. So it's not just about the modality. So pay attention to what modality you're being drawn to. And then secondly, pay attention to that sense you get of the practitioner themselves, because it's really key and important to you being able to kind of do some deep work with the person. So that would be the second takeaway. And the third takeaway is, what would the third takeaway be? Yeah, I think just to expand allow yourself to kind of expand your understanding of things. If we sort of think, okay, if I have a physical symptom, I go to my doctor. If I have a mental health issue, I go find a counselor. If I have, this, I go to that person. But you can just sort of think about taking yourself a more holistic approach and maybe weaving a few different approaches and modalities together to bring you what you need.
Okay. Yes.
Those are my three takeaways. Not very
Thank
succinct,
you.
but
But no, that's quite good. So, Suzanne, thank you very much for today. How would they find you? You know, you have a website and everything. So, how would they
yes.
contact you?
So my website is currently under construction, but it is suzannegamache.com. So that's my name, suzannegamache.com. To find my group programs and some free healing resources, it's communities.suzannegamache.com. And the only place that I'm showing up on social media right now is LinkedIn, because I do a lot of
Okay.
networking. It's just a great way to connect with people I'm networking with, and that's Suzanne Gamache. And there are very few Suzanne Gamaches in the world. So just, and I'm based in the UK, and I think I'm the only Suzanne Gamache in the
And there
UK.
you go.
So that's how you can know it's me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Suzanne. So, everyone, thank you for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment about this episode, and see you in the next 2 weeks. Bye.
Thank you, Anna.